Hi guys, Trader Michael here. In this video I will talk about the Awesome and Momentum Oscillator and Alligator trend indicator. We should start from the short explanation that there are two types of indicators. The trend indicators that are aiming to define ongoing trend and how long this trend will continue, and oscillators which are supposed to not only define the trend itself, but also to know in which stage of the trend we are and to give the trading signal to buy or sell. What you need to remember as a hint is that the trend indicators are always placed right on the chart and oscillators are placed below. So let's start with the momentum oscillator. It is one of the oldest oscillators and it is created before the computer analysis was introduced. So you can imagine that it needs to be a little bit simpler. Okay guys, now let's switch to the chart and see how the momentum oscillator works. So what we need to do first, of course, is to add it to our chart. Let's go for the indicators tab and in MT4 and MT5. It is also in the indicators section. So right here, what I need to do is to type momentum and it is automatically added below the chart. Next thing what we need to do is to check the settings. The length should be 35 and the source should be close, which means it analyzes last 35 closing levels. So let's hit OK. The next thing what we should do is to mark our zero level, which is the crucial in using the strategy with this indicator. It should be clear 0. So as you can probably deduct from what you see, the strategy goes as follows: that we enter a trade when our yellow line, the oscillator, crosses the 0 line. And for example, this one is a buy trade, this one is a sell trade, because the oscillator crosses the line from the top to the downside and right here from bottom to the upside. And this is also our exit level. So we, for example, enter here and exit right here. As you can probably deduct from with this strategy, you could be all the time in position. So let's check some examples, of course, right? Let's deduct, for example, how big is the yield trading with this strategy. So this is the British pound US dollar chart, 1 hour time frame, and we have this situation right here. Here we enter, here we exit. So we enter at this, let's zoom it in very closely so it would be very clear. We have this entry on this green candle. This one. And exit, clear exit is on this red candle. This one. So let's check with the ruler how much it would yield us profit. So more or less it is a 40 pips a profit from this particular trade. Let's check other examples. So this would be a good one because it would give us also the idea where to place a stop loss, which is in every strategy a must have. So let's zoom it in, mark the entry level, which is right here. Mark the exit level. We could discuss if it would give us the exit level. I would rather be exiting if I would see something like this, not a clear move from the with the oscillator. I don't know if I would hold the position up to here, but yeah, for example, let's assume that we could exit here. So, okay, this would be our entry candle, and this would be our exit candle. Yes, this one. So again, let's check with the ruler, more or less, it would give us 65, around 65 pips profit from this particular trade. And as you can see, first we had this move upward before the move downward. So the stop loss should be set on the closest highest high or lowest low. In this situation, we have the sell trade, so we look for the highest high, and if we have the buy trade, we look for the lowest low, local lowest low, which is right here, guys. So the stop loss should be around this level in this particular situation, which it was not triggered, and yield us again a good profit, right? So, and of course the last thing that I need to mention is to, as always, stick to the plan to trade at best with the during the European and American session, where there is the good volatility on the market and good liquidity. And the second thing, the assets that you should trade are the majors, which is like this: the British pound, US against US dollar, euro against US dollar, etc, etc. It works best on the most most volatile, most liquid currency pairs. Okay guys, and the next indicator is the Awesome Oscillator. So let's add it on the chart. It was created by the Bill Williams, which is one of the biggest experts in creating the indicators. So we work with the Awesome Oscillator by spotting the divergence on the market between the chart and the oscillator itself. The divergence is something like this, that we have on the chart the situation we see that the chart price is creating lower lows, but on the oscillator the situation is opposite, that we have higher lows that are being created along with the price change. So this is our, for example, the example setup, and the entry point is when the histogram crosses the zero level and this first green bar is created. We enter the buy trade in this situation. So it would mean that we are entering on this red candle. Let's zoom in. We are entering on this red candle the buy position, and the exit signal is the first opposite color to our trade, the candle with the opposite color. So for example, on the histogram, so for example right here we are entering the buy trade, which means that the green is our color, and the first red color on the histogram gives us the sign to exit the position. So in this situation it would be this green, we could exit on this green candle, and this particular trade would yield us 20, around 20 pips. Okay, and we have another example. Let's zoom it out. We have again the situation with the divergence. Let's mark it with the trend line. We have ongoing trend on the chart, and clearly on the histogram we have the opposite trend. So we are making lower lows, but here we are making higher lows. And again, let's check the entry point. It would be this candle, this red candle, so that would be our entry level. More or less. And first red one is here. So that would be our exit level. And let's mark it with the ruler. It would give us somewhere around 63 pips. So here you have another example of the trades of the trade with the Awesome Oscillator, and of course take profit as we spoke that it is the first opposite opposite bar on the histogram opposite level bar on the histogram, and the stop loss, as always, is also when the histogram crosses the 0 level. So for example, when you enter a trade like right here and for some reason the histogram went below 0, that is also your exit level, but most probably with the loss. So this is the, as we can say, the stop loss level for you at this situation. You can also set the stop loss, for example, as we always speak, to the the nearest lowest low. So for example, it would be it could be taken out from the trade when the histogram crosses the 0 level, or for example if the chart goes below the nearest lowest low. So that is how you trade with the Awesome Oscillator, and the last one is the Alligator. So let's check this one. Okay guys, and the last one is the Alligator Trend Indicator. So again, type Alligator, and of course, as you can see, it is created by Bill Williams again, which should indicate the good quality of the indicator. As always, first let's change the settings, because this trend indicator consists of 3 moving averages, which are named the jaw, the teeth, and the lips, and they are correspond with each other on the chart. So we need to set the periods correctly which they represent. So the first, the jaw, should be 21 moving average, the slowest one. Then we have the teeth, 13 moving average, the middle one, and the lips, it should be 8 period moving average. We need to offset, also change the offset of this indicator, because it would help us to analyze the historical data, because as you can see, they are moved a little bit forward of the chart. So we need to set them as 0 so they could be directly on the chart. As you can see, they correspond very well with the current candlesticks. So it would give us the good opportunity to analyze it correctly. So the classic trading strategy based on this indicator is when the green line, the lips, is crossing the other 2 lines. So as you can see, for example, it would be in this moment, it would give us the signal to sell, because there, of course, it's crossing from the top to the downside, and the moment when it crosses downward, crosses in the opposite direction, which is our exit signal, is right here, which is this candle. So for example, this trade gives us 45 pips around. So this is the classical methodology to trade with this indicator, and as you can tell already that it is very lagging. We had this steep movement downward before we received the signal, and right here we had this 2 strong candles upward, and then we received the signal to close our trade. So this methodology works best when the price is in very strong trend, which doesn't happen very often. It is more or less 20 to 30% of the time. But what to do when the price is in a sideways movement? So now I will show an example of another strategy which you can utilize using this indicator, which should give this signal a little bit sooner than the classical one. So it is the situation occurs when we have the lips, the green line, is trending above the other 2 lines, and we have also the price chart above this line. And when the first candlestick closes below the middle line, then it is our signal to, for example, in this situation, to sell. So we could enter a trade here, and the exit signal is when the candlestick touches the lips line, the green one. So here would be, around here would be our exit point. So let's mark it with the ruler. Look how much it would yield for us. It is a 50 pips profit from this trade. If we would use the classical technique, let's check. You see guys, it would be here or even here, the entry point. The clear signal would occur around this candlestick, which, as you can see further when we touch the other lines, wouldn't yield us any profit at all if we use the classical technique in this situation. Okay guys, so as you can see, you can utilize this indicator on a couple ways. I can even show you how you can combine those two methodologies. So let's look for a good example. I saw some a little bit further. Okay, this is a very good one. So we have the green line, the ellipse below the two other lines. We have the chart also below, and we have here the signal to enter a buy trade because we have the candlestick closing above the middle line. So let's mark it with this horizontal line. We could enter a trade here, and the exit point would be our here with this methodology, right? This would be our take profit, but we also have the signal to entry with the classic methodology, which is right here, and it would occur around this candle, which means that this the ellipse crosses the other two. So this is also the buy signal right here, and at this moment we see that this is a clear trend because the lines are divided in a very wide range, and the green line didn't cross the other two. So this is a still signal that the trend is continuing, even though we could exit multiple times. We could continue to hold this trade up until the ellipse crosses the other two lines. This green moving average crosses the other two lines. So the profit would be much greater in this situation if we could combine those two two trades. So basically this is how you use the Alligator indicator. I hope you learned something from this video. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or you can just join the community on the social trading platform and ask them to me directly, or also in the chat. So big profits guys, and till next time, take care, bye.